Hi, I'm Michael Fry, President and CEO of Deepwater Subsea. In this episode of The Daily Grind, I talk about why perception is not always reality. So let's get into the show. So I was watching some television over the weekend and we keep seeing this commercial about GE. And it's the guy that comes in and says, hey, I got a job, it's at GE. And everybody's like, oh, great, what are you gonna be doing? Oh, I'm gonna be building apps. And they think it's apps for the phone or it's this and it's some techie type stuff. And the message of the commercial is, do you really know what GE is, what they do? For me, this daily grind is all about reconnecting with your customers and the people that you've worked with in the past. The reason I talk about that is, we get calls all the time where I'm sitting down talking with people and they say, hey, Deepwater Subsea is just a training company, right? And I kind of pause and I go, well, no, we do so much more than just training. We do competency assessments, we do mentoring, we do BOP verifications here in the Gulf of Mexico, we do inspections, we witness factory acceptance testing. I mean, we are a subsea support organization. The problem is when people have the perception that you're just, kind of boxed into you are a training company, you get overlooked for a lot of opportunities. I remember being at the corporate office for a drilling contractor and I had a customer come in and say, hey, how come you've never reached out to us? And I said, well, I didn't know that you guys actually did this. The problem is when you get that perception in your head of this is what an organization does, you miss out on a lot of opportunities that are in the workplace. So in this downturn market, I think it's very important for small organizations and even big organizations to get back out there and reconnect with your customers, to let them know, hey, this is what we do and this is what we can do for you. When I first started Deepwater Subsea, it would have been very easy for me, kind of using the David and Goliath analogy to say, hey, look, there are big, well-established organizations who do some things very, very well. And that might kind of throw my competition off. But yeah, you guys who do compete in the same space, there are things that you do within the niche that I think you do a very good job in. I applaud you as an entrepreneur for doing that. But for me, if I want to get in that space and take some of that market share, I had to sit back and say, who is the competition? What do they do? What do they do good? And what can we do different and or better? So in a downturn market, if you're not out there connecting with your customers and connecting with the people who you've dealt with in the past, a lot of people might not know what it is you really do. Same thing goes if you've been let go from the industry. You're sitting at home and you want to get back in the game. If the last thing I knew is that you worked on this piece of equipment, in my mind, you are a hydro guy, you are a Cameron guy, you are an NOV guy. You might have worked on all the systems. Get that CV refreshed, get back out there in the market, start talking to people and saying, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I can do, this is how I can help you. And what you see is these opportunities will start becoming more and more available to you. Deepwater Subsea, kind of like the GE, we are more than just a training company, we're a support company. Twice in the last 12 months, I've had customers tell me, having you guys supporting our organization helped save our contract. That is very special to me because that giving back to our client and our customers, that feedback, you couldn't pay for that. But understanding what the organization is and what we do, I think is just as important when it comes to being out in the marketplace as the perception that people see you as. Yes, they know, hey, look, if we have Deepwater Subsea on board, the return on investment is phenomenal. The problem is if they only think you do this little piece and you have to kind of justify and explain all the rest of the things that you do, you miss out on opportunities. So in this downturn, this daily grind on a Friday, get out in the marketplace. Let your customers know exactly what you do. Unfortunately, in this downturn, so many people want to cut back. Hey, we're going to cut back on visits, we're going to cut back on trips, we're going to cut back on marketing, we're going to cut back on all these things because they have a cost to them. Don't cut back. Get out there and actually work harder to promote the things that you do. If you're out of the industry, hustle and grind. Get on the phone, get on the emails, do what you need to do. If you're a service provider, get out there, let your customers know what you do. Stay fresh. People are getting cut every day. The guy that you used to deal with might not be there anymore. So again, kind of wrap up this daily grind. Deepwater Subsea, kind of like GE, so much more than what the perception is. We do training, competency assessments, mentoring, factory acceptance testing, BESI BOP verifications. Understand who your customers are, understand what they can do for you and what you can do for them, and you'll have a much greater opportunity of being prosperous during this downturn. Something to think about.